Here we go. I hope you can hear me. Yes. All right. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's the last show of the year, at least for the Morning Night Live. Now, I may or may not stream be one more time before the end of the year, maybe even twice, who knows? But this is the last official Morning Night Live of the new year, and I hope that I hope you find some enjoyment out of it. Interesting things going on this just over the last 24 hours, and there's even more to come during the rest of the day. But right now, this is the year in review show, so I'm not gonna hit too much on breaking news today, even though there is going to be some. Thank you so much, Jimmy Das Hotep, and who else did this? Somnable Nation for tweeting out the show. I'm retweeting y'all too. Yeah, we're gonna just go through a list of some of the best and worst of 2022, and then get the hell out of this year. Rat and Monkey, what's up? Oh my gosh, good to see you. All right, so anyway, it's an open mic day. That's I think the link's in the description. Did I put it in the description? Well, if you want to jump in, feel free. We're going to go through some lists and ask. I want to know what you think of some of the best and worst things of the year are. But before we do that, obviously, I need to play the intro. Johnny, play the intro. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Yes! Let's see if the bell's working, the superstars. Okay, that's working. Everything's working. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Friday. Funky Friday. Oh, wait a minute. Did I say Funky Friday? Oh, that's not funky. What the hell is that? That's not funky. That's like some mellow shit. Let me find something that's actually a little funky. Let's try this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about on Funky Friday. Yes, let's okay. I'm only gonna do that for a second because it's hard to talk when that music's blasted in my ears, but I like that. I like it. Anyway, I'm so happy to see y'all. Let me do some quick good mornings and then we're gonna get right into it. Also, it is an open mic show. In the description of both let's see, is it there? Yep, it's there in the description of Rumble, and it is in the description of YouTube. Let me just double check. The link's there. If you want to jump in and in your 2 cents live, I'm more than happy to have you jump in. We're going to make it a fun show today, but I want to talk about the year that is 2022. But before I do that, I definitely need to say good morning. So, first of the chat over on Rumble this morning, and the bell goes to Avocados Diabli. Thank you, sir, for being that guy. But just make sure to smash that plussy on Rumble. Also, good morning, Somnable Nation, Mike Savage, Blarg, and Jimmy Das Hotep. And also Wild Saffron. Now, I always get mixed up. Wild Saffron, is that Hig? No, Hig is I don't know who does what. Anyway, worst thing is the proxy war with Russia. Best thing is all our favorite content creators gaining some traction. People need the message. Yes, I agree with you, Jimmy Das. Now, over on YouTube, first in chat is also Avocados Diabli against the bell on both ends of the spectrum. Also, good morning, Tyre. You know what? It's the last day of the year. I'll drop this one. Good morning, Tyrannus Alexandrius Tremelich. So epic. Also, good morning, Somnable Nation. Let's see. I said that, guys. Mike Savage, blog. Trippy Liberty, what's up, my brother? Rotten Corpses in the house. Also, good. Let's see. Plague Dr. Zach, aka Zach Osborne. Jimmy Dots Hotep's also on the other side of the world, too. Gunfox 61, the ever present and very apt. No, not what do you call it? What's the word? Competent administrator of the Discord server, keeps me out of trouble over there. Good morning, also to Attack Alpaca. Oh, not this. I'm sorry. Gunfox doesn't just only keep me in trouble. He keeps me in blood pressure medicine, because sometimes the stuff he posts over there, I'm like, oh my gosh. By the way, I do my cup reparations with the Resist Fascism cup. I think this cup should be a top seller right now. I think everyone should get a Resist Fascism cup. I don't know if I still have them over on my Streamlabs store, though. You'd have to go check. I think that's still there. Anyway, also, good morning to Unacceptable Views. Cracked is in the house. Rod Line, good to see you back. Also, Gulf City DCC 182, aka Blink. Also, Ranting Monkey. Who says I'm a pretty motherfucker? Okay, I am kind of pretty for a old black guy. Anyway, but black don't crack. Anyway, good morning, DI Freighter Watcher. Also, who else is here? I'm scrolling. Anyone? Tall person's in the house. Good to see you. I have to keep track of the events, because I don't think I have them muted. Or do I have them muted? Oh, I don't have them muted. So I'll hear them. They just won't show up on the screen today. Also, HP Lovecraft is in the house. The Aseptus Wolf, LA Prepper, what's happening? Keenan's in the house, and that looks like just about everybody, unless I scrolled too far. Okay, we're looking pretty good. All right, what I want to talk to you about today is, would you question my judgment on such things? Well, it just depends on how much of your medication you're using, Monk. I find your judgment to be very reasonable and good. So I guess I am a pretty motherfucker. All right. I want to talk about the year that is and was 2022. Now, clearly, some things have happened in the last day or two that made me laugh, right? We laughed a lot about what's the dude, Andrew Tate. Now, by the way, something about this Andrew Tate story. I know y'all heard about it. Well, maybe you've heard about it. Andrew Tate got arrested yesterday. He and his brother over in, is it Bulgaria or Romania? Where is he? I think it's Romania. Oh, look at this. We got our first sponsor of the day. Oh, Lord. Oh, okay. Yes. Tucker Carlson. First of all, thank you, Gunfox 61, for sponsoring the show. And Gunfox 61, you are. Whoa, what happened? You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. Greatly appreciated. And of course, you give me an article that probably is going to make me. Oh, yes, it's on Tucker Carlson, an MSNBC article about that. Look, I'm going to try to get to it I want to talk about the year that was 2022, though. Yes, it is Romania. Thank you. I appreciate for y'all correcting me and fixing my shit here. By the way, good morning, Ryan R. And I saw another new name that wasn't here earlier. It was, who was it? I don't even know. I saw Ryan R. Anybody else? Maybe. Oh, Zombie Teddy's in the house. Yes. Good morning, Zombie Teddy. Good to see you. All right, let's talk about the year that is 2022, because PJ Media put out a great list of things that happened in 2022, and I'd love to hear your opinions about some of these things. So, and I'm going to give you some categories first, and so and then you can drop whatever you want in the chat, or if you want to just jump into the stream, like here, right in this place. There's a link in the YouTube. There's a link in the what you call it. There's a link in the Rumble. What do you call it? The description. You know, the description. There's a link in those. If you want to jump in, you feel free. And I will. You know, I might not even kick anyone out today. I might just put a bunch of people in here. But we're gonna go through this list. Now, if you're old enough to remember the McLaughlin group. Okay, you remember that. If you're old enough to remember that, and if you're not, you probably have seen parodies of it. They did the 2022 a year in review, and they said McLaughlin group styles. So I'm going to ask you some of your opinions on these, and then I'm going to give you the answer they gave, which I went through this morning. I'm like, oh, I like these. These are really good. These are really good. There's some of them, maybe yes, no, sir, you are wrong. Anyway, so we're going to do that, and I'd love to hear what you think. And so we're going to start with the first three categories, okay? And you can put whatever you want in the chat, or you can jump in. First three categories are biggest winner of the year, biggest loser of the year, and best politician of the year, okay? Now, the choices they came up with were very interesting, I thought. I really do. So for the biggest winner of the year. Oh, wait. George Santos, all three. Yeah, that's the ticket. He and his wife, Morgan Fairchild. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And he's got a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Yes, that's the ticket. Yes, George Santos. Oh, speaking of George Santos, there was, boy, oh boy, Joe Biden's getting dragged. We showed you the list of lies that Joe Biden has been doing all during his career yesterday. But holy smokes, every day I look at the old Twitter machine, and it's like he's getting slammed everywhere because, well, if George Santos should resign, so should Joe Biden, right? Thank you, Cryptic, for the for dropping a link into the tip jar via YouTube super chat. You know what? This requires funky music. Thank you, Cryptic, with a little bit of humor in the. Oh my gosh, is that really loud? It's really loud on my end. It might not be as loud to you, but it's loud as hell to me. How's the level of that music? Someone tell me how the music level is when I turn these on. I know it's going to take a second because there's a lag between what I say and the chat, but maybe you can tell me. Does that seem like a good level to you? A little loud, okay? We're going to turn it down just a little more. This should be a little better. Maybe now, see, maybe this comes out like I hear it. It's hard to tell. Loud, really loud. How about that? It was loud. The quality is also short. Well, I'm going to turn it off. I'm not even going to do it. No more music. We're done with the music. See, for some reason, when you do this mixer thing into StreamYard, it kind of messes things up. So I'm just going to stop the music. All right. Thank you, Cryptic. Dropping a link in the tip jar. It says, Mortal Kombat is actually based on a Scandinavian religious song. It's a Finnish hymn. That's some funny shit. Cryptic. Cryptic, nice to see you. It's good to see you here live. It's awesome. All right, let's get into. Oh, you can't even hear the music. Okay, it just depends. Oh my gosh, Warren and Native Cookbook should resign. That's true. Hello, Tim Higgins. Nice to see you. It was loud. It was quality shit. Okay, we'll just stop with the music. All right, so let's 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 finish him. I can't. All right, so here let me see if you agree with this. So for the biggest winner of the year, that would be the free state of Florida. No other state came close to Florida's record of fighting back against the incalculable overreach of the federal government and woke culture wars. The voters rewarded the proactive, always on offense action of the governor with record-shattering electoral results, including supermajorities of Republicans in both the House and the legislature, and a 20-point re-election wins for Mario Rubio, Attorney General Ashley Moody, and virtually every other statewide Republican on the ballot. Florida is no longer a swing state thanks to the strong leadership of Governor Ron DeSantis. There we go. Now, can anyone name any other winners of the year? Winners in 2022? Certainly not Joseph Freeman Biden. Although if those articles we read yesterday almost seemed like it was, but he did win. Okay, he had the least awful midterm elections for a president in a long time. There you go. All right. Biggest loser of the year. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness gracious. Okay, I gotta stop. I have a guest. And everyone, please welcome our friend Sydney. Hello, Sydney. How are you?
Good.
I was gonna say you're a little quiet today. You only waved, you didn't say hi.
Hi.
How have you been? I have not seen you in so long.
Good.
Yeah, I although I did see you. Now I accidentally messed up a message on Twitter to you. Are you playing basketball this year?
Yep.
And how's it going?
Good.
Yeah. So, did you have a nice Christmas?
Yep.
Did you get any cool presents? Could you hear that? Did you get any cool presents?
Yep.
What was your favorite present this year?
Oh no. My headset.
Your headset. Oh, you got a new headset. Oh yeah, look at that. That's really cool. Well, do you have a plan for New Year's? For what's your plan for 2023? Do you have anything special you want to do in 2023?
No.
No. Just have another good year and have fun playing basketball?
Yep.
Okay, well, good. Well, you know what? I am so happy you popped in. I haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you have a wonderful new year and a lot of success next year.
Yep.
All right. You have a great day.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Sydney. Good to see you. All right. That was awesome. I am so happy to see Sydney. I haven't seen Sydney around in a long time, so that's a good thing. But we also have another guest, and it is my friend, the Ranting Monkey. What's up, Monk?
My friend, how are you? How are you today?
I'm just over here being pretty, I guess.
You really are. You do it well.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. What did you think of their this list is a long list. We're not going to get through all of it today, but what did you think of that as far as biggest winner of the year? Do you have any other winners that you can think of this year that fit that could have been a nominee in the category even if they didn't win the prize?
You know, if you're not for that level, but I think one of the biggest winners this year is Brittany Griner. I mean, she worked hard for it. She had to go be a prisoner, but I mean, who else gets the president of the United States to release them from prison in Russia over drug charges and treated like an international superstar, like she was LeBron James?
Isn't it amazing?
It really is.
Just the fact. I mean, you would think that would be one that you could almost get back without any negotiation if you were
right.
If you're a guy with funny hair and a couple billion in real estate holdings.
Look, we should have been able to trade a candy bar to get her back. She was not worth all that much,
right? But and especially for who they gave her.
Oh yeah. Let's see. big winners. DeSantis is probably the biggest one just because of how well Florida did. The press has actually kind of dropped their criticism of him the way they were because Trump jumped back in, so he gets to fly under the radar a little bit further. Yeah, I'd have to say DeSantis is. If somebody has a better one, I'd listen. But yeah, seems to be so far the only downside I've seen for him is Republicans who really want Trump again are tearing him down because, well, they want Trump again.
Well, they seem to be Trump or bust, Trump or nothing.
And look, technically this would be primary season, so that's how it is. You back your horse, right?
Right.
But I'm struggling to think of anybody else who had even a halfway decent year that way. Biden sure as hell didn't.
Someone in the chat said Messi. Messi had a great year. He finally got a World Cup after being one of the greatest superstars in football for years. But
I don't acknowledge soccer.
Oh, there you go. Well, no. Hold on a second, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
We did lose perhaps the most iconic soccer player in history yesterday.
Oh yeah, he just died. Yeah,
and it's weird because I remember when I was a kid, so he was still playing when I was really young, right? And I didn't know a damn thing about soccer, but he was the biggest icon in sports at the time, and everybody knew who he was. I mean, he was as big as Muhammad Ali. He was as big as Jordan in his prime. He was as big as, Mark Spitz after winning 7 gold medals. I mean, Pele was the man, and I didn't know shit about soccer. So it was pretty amazing how much of an icon he is.
Well, I'll give you that he was a big icon, but can you name another player from his era?
No.
There you go. Nobody cares about soccer. It's a game that poor countries play because they can afford a ball.
True. Or what they did when Pele was a kid, they would stuff a bunch of socks into a sock. He grew up really poor, and I actually posted a really great video that I don't know if you remember Kiala Carr, but she did a video about Pele, and apparently when he was a kid, they would stuff like a bunch of clothes or something into a big sock and make a ball out of that because they couldn't afford soccer ball.
Yeah.
And he practiced learning his skills doing like hacky sack with mangoes.
Nice.
So that's, a lot of his skills just came from because the fact he was poor and he had to, once you got a ball, it's like, oh shit, this is easy with a ball. So anyway. All right, let's move on to another category. And remember, if you want to jump into the live conversation, the links are in the description. Biggest loser of the year. Do you have any losers you can think of? Besides Andrew Tate.
Wow. Yeah, lots of them. Will Smith is a big loser this year.
Okay.
That slap, pretty much put his career on hold.
Certainly. Drop some in the chat too. Biggest loser of the year, some nominations, and then I will tell you the actual biggest loser of the year.
Let's see who else. I would say Biden, but because of the midterms, that kind of pumped him back up a little bit.
Right. I would think some people would. Yeah. I mean, his status is certainly being tarnished with this war, isn't it? Although because we're spending almost twice his military budget to help Ukraine, right, yeah. That's kind of almost inevitable. But another person I would think of would be Liz Cheney.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, they tried to pump that up as a win for her because I don't know. She lost pretty badly. True. The
worst of any incumbent ever in their own primary. Here's some from the chat. Jack Murphy.
Oh, sure, yeah,
not bad. Paul Pelosi and he lost his gay lover. Okay,
wow.
The biggest loser here is the Qatar soccer team. I would say Budweiser. because of they sponsored the World Cup and then they couldn't sell beer at the World Cup.
Oh, I
And
didn't
that's
even know that. I didn't pay that much attention to the World Cup. Is that real? Wow.
Yeah, Qatar decided at the last minute that they were not going to allow alcohol sales at any of the World Cup venues. And Budweiser was one of the biggest sponsors of the World Cup this year.
Wow. Nice. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Yeah. But according to PJ Media, all those other answers are wrong. Oh, Don Lemon is one in the chat too. Anyone who pays taxes in the U.S., that's a good one too. Anyway, here's what they say at PJ Media. The biggest loser of the year is the Republican National Committee, in a year defined by some of the worst executive leadership ever seen in the United States and the foreign policy and economic woes to match. Anything less than gaining control of the House and the Senate in the midterm elections qualifies as an unmitigated disaster. That was my best John McLaughlin.
Yeah, I gotta disagree. Look, yeah, they should have done better in the midterms, but they did still take the House. The only reason that they did as poorly as they did is, well, it was a full-on onslaught of the press going against the entire Republican establishment. I think they did pretty good considering.
Here's where my only issue is I would agree with you there until, and I guess maybe it's not the Republican National Committee, I would just say the Republicans, until this $1.7 trillion bill came through the Senate. And not because they obviously the 18 of the senators who voted for it won that battle, but I am in the fuck them mode right now.
No, I'm with you. I saw a thing. There was a tweet from the Republicans yesterday that said, "We believe in limited government." Like, where?
Yes. My question was, which one of you? Which
Right,
ones?
yeah.
Which ones? Who does? Anyway, all right. Well, real quick, Cryptic, thank you for another big bullet in the tip jar. Cryptic says, I came within one of my goal of kissing a girl from each indigenous tribe in North America. I had a girl picked out for the last one, but it turned out she wasn't Inuit.
Nice.
Oh, thank you, Cryptic. That was a groaner. Okay. All right. Best politician of the year. Now, when I saw this, I would have immediately thought DeSantis. Are there any other politicians? And in the chat, also put your choices in the chat. Any other politicians you think had a good year?
Well, actually, Biden had a decent year, but I would say Schumer. I hate the little bastard, but they kept the Senate. They pushed through all of Biden's agenda, even with just a 50-50 split. They didn't have to use the vice president that often. Mm-hmm. Schumer had a decent year.
He beat his fellow senators into shape, didn't he? Yeah, I mean, who had a great year other than DeSantis? Man, I can't really think of any other. Who got elected? Let's see. Well, here's their answer, and this might surprise you. By the way, good morning, Jaeger Pony. I see you dropped in, and Renee Mayette. I see you too. Oh wait, here's some people. Here's some from the chat. Here's some from the chat. Are easy for me to say. Everyone in Pennsylvania, you got Fetterneck. Nancy Mace, she's had a pretty good year. Nancy Mace from South Carolina. I can't remember. Is she on the Judiciary Committee? She's the one who she's been in quite a few videos about asking questions. You know who else I think, who I think has been pretty good is Chip Roy. You familiar with him? He's a congressman from Texas.
I know the name. I think I even follow him.
Yeah, he's been making a lot of those videos where they have congressmen questioning people or making speeches on the floor. I just see him pop up all the time. But here is the PJ Media best politician of the year. It is a tie. One, Kirsten Sinema,
Oh, piss off.
and Tulsi Gabbard. Both left the Democratic Party. I'm sorry, I got to do this John McLaughlin style. Both left the Democratic Party, switching to non-affiliated. Both remain stalwart liberals, but both left the party in order to punish those who wailed and screeched as if they failed to toe the radical line. While there's enough room to doubt their true intentions, they both nonetheless called much-needed attention to a party that has gone completely out of control. Sinema's defection particularly hurts, as she will serve as a roadblock in the Senate until she gets her way, which is, of course, why she did what she did.
But it's a change in name only. I mean, she was already occasionally holding up stuff with her and Manchin.
Mhm.
This actually showed how bad of a time she's having, because she's coming into 2024, and if she goes in as a Democrat, there's a good chance she loses that seat. She's trying to get around it by playing McCain politics and being like, no, I'm independent. But she came out and said, I'm going to caucus with them. I'm going to vote with them. I'm going to be on committees that they put me on. It is literally a name only.
But as political moves, like you said, it forces the Democrats to not primary her, even though they don't like her, because she'll split the Democratic vote in Arizona. So what can they do? They're kind of stuck with just letting her run on her own.
I don't think they're going to run unopposed out there. I think they'll at least put up a candidate that, like, oh, well, here's a guy who wanted to run, and it will split it, and she will end up losing her seat, because it is so close out there in Arizona, and she's not that well liked out there.
But will she lose it? But will she lose the seat to a Democrat?
No, she'll lose it to a Republican.
And that's the strategy that keeps them from not getting a Republican seat there. Either they don't push against her and let her win, or they lose that extra person in the caucus.
I think they're willing to take that loss on her.
Do you?
Oh yeah. They want to be rid of her.
I suppose. Yeah. I guess so. Maybe that's going to be interesting to see what they do. And then Tulsi Gabbard, how about her? Now, here's one thing I would agree with on Tulsi Gabbard, even though she's not necessarily a actual politician anymore. You notice how so many on the right are embracing her right now?
Yeah.
And has she changed, really?
Not really. I mean, she's got a little bit of rhetoric that's changed, but for the most part, she's still a Bernie bro. Yeah.
But far more on the libertarian vein, right?
She's getting there, at least socially. I would say, yeah, you're probably right about that. But when it comes to her fiscal policy, she's still a Bernie bro. So I get what they're saying with her, because she has had a minor rise, but I think they're looking too close at the end of the year. And I don't know that you can really call her a politician. She's a pundit now.
I wonder if she's going to get back in the game, though. It's almost, it seems so calculated that she's gaining all this attention from the right. I mean, she's hosting Tucker Carlson shows. I mean, she's I don't know. It seems very
look, if she's hosting Tucker, she's getting into a position where she's going to end up offered a show of her own, which is going to be very lucrative.
Gosh,
and I don't see too many people turning away a 6 or 7 figure contract at a TV station where you go in and just talk for a few hours a night for a $170,000 job working in Congress.
Good point, because she can make tons more on TV.
Absolutely.
And she's got the look, she got the smart, although she's not the greatest. I watched, what was the interview she did the other night with George Santos, which she ripped him to shreds. It was hilarious. But she's very, very rigid as a interviewer. It's really interesting. But all right, let's move on. First, real quick, good morning, Natasha Kayleen. Good morning, Chicago Mike. Good to have you in the chat. All right, Now, worst politician of the year. Now, I know the one that they came up with. You will agree as soon as I say the name, but I'm going to see what you got.
Look, it's a late horse candidate, but you got to go with George Santos. You really do.
Oof.
I'm Jewish. What the hell? For those of you who didn't see it, this man said that he's not Jewish, he's Jew-ish. That is part of his cover for all of the lies he told during his campaign. He's likely going to be forced out of his seat, even though, yes, there's a bunch of liars up there on the Hill. But good God, is there anything this guy told the truth about? He might not even be gay. That's how much he lied.
I think the only thing, we were talking about, because some of these things go back into his tweets, not even while he's campaigning, like he said his mother died on 9/11.
Because of 9/11, yes, yeah.
Oh, because of 9/11?
Yeah, he has an excuse for that. It was like long-term effects of it or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. But yes, if you just read the tweets, it looks like his mother died twice.
Right. Yeah, it did look like that. And then the one that could be true, because they showed a picture of his father, because he said he's biracial one time. And so everyone's like, oh, is he biracial? Some people are actually wondering, is that his real name even?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't tell at this point. Oh, yeah.
And look, also, has he been in the country for 7 years, like to be eligible to be in Congress?
Well, that's a good question, too. Nobody knows. The guy, he's such a liar. Now, you do got to give him a little bit of credit, because nobody brought this shit up before the election was over, so he got elected.
Well, and here's so my worst politician of the year would not be George Santos then. It would be Robert Zimmerman. Do you know who that is?
Familiar with the name, not familiar why.
Not Bob Dylan, but it is Robert Zimmerman is the man who George Santos beat.
Oh, fair. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, Robert Zimmerman. Anyone who does opposition research for the Democrats, they are the worst politicians of the year. Now, there's also rumors too that some of the Republicans around George Santos knew that he was a liar, and the only reason they didn't say anything is they thought there was no chance in hell he could win.
Fair, yeah. So, I'd also give a hat tip here to Herschel Walker and Dr. Oz.
Oof.
Dr. Oz, how did you lose to Fetterman?
That's amazing. That is amazing, isn't it? And, well, here's the answers from PJ Media, and you might you're gonna like this one because she's one of your favorite. Now, not necessarily a politician, but she is in the political realm. Karine Jean-Pierre.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Karine Jean-Pierre. She's earned the well-deserved nickname Cringe Jean-Pierre, or if you go on Ranting Monkey's channel, Latrine Jean-Pierre, over her complete unwillingness to prepare properly to do her job. Before 2022, nobody could have imagined someone performing worse as a press secretary. She gives diversity hire a bad name every time she steps up to the podium. It takes real talent to steal this award from her boss, but man, she's really, really, really bad at her job.
I mean, in fairness, little Chucky, who went before her, wasn't that good at the job. They just gave her a lot of passes. She would say the stupid stuff like, we'll circle back to that. And they're like, oh, okay, that's a good answer. Karine will just be like, okay, I'm not answering that, and leave the room.
Right. Well, I think Chucky was a little bit better at smoothly deflecting versus.
She didn't get as angry as Katrine obviously does.
Right.
She gets mad, and we saw that with the reporter from Africa, who was just like, "Can I ask a question?" And she's like, "You did," but no, my question wasn't, "Can I ask a question?" But she tried to play it off like that's what it was, and she gets mad at these guys. It's their job to be adversarial with them, even if they're usually not.
Definitely.
And yeah, look, I can't fault her completely because she is working for Biden. This is a man who's repeatedly said that, yes, we're going to defend Taiwan, even though that is not official U.S. policy. What's he done it 3 or 4 times now? And the entire White House has to come out and go, no, that's not what we're saying. Because, China's like, oh, really? How about we just stop shipping you things you need? I give her just a little bit of a little leeway because of who she's working for.
Mm-hmm.
She's just, I don't think that you can prepare for that job as you work for Joe Biden because you never know what that idiot's going to say.
You never know how much cleanup you're going to have to do.
Yeah. So as much shit as I give her, deservedly so, I do give her, it's kind of, I wouldn't say she's the worst of the year because you got to consider what she's working with.
Well, and when you include Dr. Oz and Robert Zimmerman, of course, Robert Zimmerman is a new one that just came up.
How about Stacey Abrams?
Oof.
Who raised the most money ever in a gubernatorial campaign, most money ever, and finished in debt and lost.
That's pretty bad. But she's still a superstar.
She is. She's president of Earth. Don't forget.
Yeah, she is president of Earth. All right, moving on real quick. Good morning to the world's greatest son-in-law, Jess Phillips. Good morning, sir. All right. Most defining moment of the year. Now, I think my answer would have been the raid on Mar-a-Lago, the basically the politicization of the Justice Department. But they have a different answer. I think that was egregious. Even if there were some classified documents, and it's not the first president to walk away with classified documents, but they're consistent and constant focus on that man who's no longer the president, who they are doing everything they can to derail his opportunity, his right to run again, is just dumbfounding to me.
Well, I mean, they're scared of him. That's what it is.
Yes.
They're sure about the most secure election ever, but they are afraid of Trump, mostly because of how bad Biden is done. Mm-hmm. But for my defining moment of the year, I'm actually going to have to go with the death of Queen Elizabeth and the aftermath of it. This kind of changing of the guard of the old. Man, she's been queen for most people's lives. And she passes, and you see some of the anti-monarchy people over in, not just in England, but all around the world. And you see Charles come in, and he's kind of doofy. I mean, let's be honest. Sorry, Brits. Your king he's doofy. And it just seems a good caricature of life itself. Out with the old, the civil, she was always, I mean, every time you saw Queen Elizabeth, whether you like her or not, she was dressed very nicely and she was very polite to everybody. She was a kind person, unless you're Meghan Markle, according to her.
Right.
But she really was. And now you got Charles. I mean, it's like, is there anything more 2022?
I wonder if Charles would relinquish the crown early before he died. It'd be interesting to see, because I don't even get the impression he wants to be the king.
I don't know. I feel like he's been waiting so long. Even after he's dead, they're going to have to pull that crown out of his hands. He's just going to be clutching it tight.
Let's see in the chat. Oh, you know who we missed too? The other worst politician of the year would be the Dirt Eater.
Well, I don't count him because there was no way he was going to win anyway. He is just a perpetual loser at this point, and even Democrats weren't really backing him this time.
Mm-hmm. A couple people here have said Elon buying Twitter.
That's a good one.
That is a very good one. And in fact, let's go to the answer from PJ Media. The most defining moment of the year, the Twitter files. We knew they were doing it. We knew they were doing it. We knew they were doing it. They did it anyway, with a middle finger in our faces for our troubles. Now we know the extent to which the federal law enforcement apparatus stuck its nose in, violating several constitutional rights for Americans citizens in the process. The Twitter files demonstrate how out of control the federal bureaucracies are, and dismantling them may be the only solution.
Sure. I mean, it's one of my picks too, but the reason I don't give it that is so far it's just been ignored by the mainstream, so therefore most people don't even know what's going on. It would be a defining moment, I think. Crypto is another one. Crypto had major crashes this year, including FTX, which that is another kind of defining moment. You had so much going into crypto, and I think you're seeing a major correction of that even before FTX, but it's not a sexy story, so it doesn't get the front pages and stuff. We had with FTX, you have something crashing bigger than Madoff scam. And people are just like, what about it? So what? It's a major thing. It should be. So I get the answer for that. And I think it's personally a very defining moment. I just don't think that as a whole, it's hard to give it that one, in my opinion.
Well, I think the FTX thing, though, it's another one that they're not. You hear about it, they're writing about it, but they don't. It's almost like they don't want to write about it because of where the money went.
Dude, even some of the articles today that are being written about this, even as we know as much as we know, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal kind of writing flowery about Sam Bankman-Fried. Like, I mean, he just there was no way to really know. This motherfucker. Sorry, I don't mean to swear on your show like that. This motherfucker was just robbing people. He stole $10 billion. There you go. But yeah, I think both of those stories should be much huger. And if they were covered properly, I would give it to the Twitter files. But the mainstream narrative is just not that.
Well, I think the thing about the Twitter files is it shouldn't have been a revelation that it was happening. But now that's even confirmed that it was Operation Mockingbird on steroids, and it's obviously not just Twitter. It's Twitter, it's Google, it's Facebook, it's Apple, it's Verizon, it's all the news media that are friendly with the and this isn't the elected government either. That's the other thing. It's not the elected government. It's the bureaucrats. It's the people the entrenched government that doesn't change when the president changes or the Congress changes, trying to influence the people who give them money. And that's what it is. My biggest, I used to talk about, government employee unions, where I cannot stand the idea of a government employee union, because who are they negotiating against? They're negotiating against the people, and their unions are pushing people who are going to give them more money, which is against the people, because it's your tax money that pays them. They don't produce anything. And this is the same thing with the people who are messing with these social media companies, whatever. They are actively working for one party. And I don't mean the Democrats, I mean the uniparty, the entrenched government people who all seem to make money from being involved in the government. And that's where, but this, seeing it in black and white on ink, even if it's on your computer screen, is quite the revelation.
In chat, this is, I want to bring this one up. The omnibus bill, that was so 2022. It's ridiculous.
Ugh.
We need money to stay open. By the way, we're changing voting rules in this bill. What? We need to give Ukraine $45 billion so our government can stay open. That's what this crap was. So yeah, you want to talk about defining as that is so American today. Yes, it really is, sadly.
Real quick, I got a couple super chats here. One from Chicago, Mike. Thank you, sir. Who says it's good to be king? Definitely. And then also over on Rumble, Cryptic at it again. Say thank you, sir. Dropping a link in the bag. I guess you call it a bag over at Rumble. He says, okay, prepare. All right, everybody, prepare yourself. He says, my doctor wants me to have a better heart to be healthy, but I want a better heart because I think veins look sexy. I have arterial motives.
Wow.
Oh,
fair enough.
that was painful. All right, let's move on. This one I couldn't think of anyone I saw this. Best spin of the year, which I'm just gonna go give you this one, and this is a quote that you might have heard once or twice. It is, quote, recently I tested positive for COVID. Thankfully, my symptoms are mild and I'm working remotely. I am grateful that I received the vaccine and booster to avoid serious illness. I will return to work when it's safe to do so. I urge every American to get their COVID-19 vaccines and boosters. And that's every single bought and paid for politician and public figurehead. Nobody ever thought to ask why they got sick, even though they were quadruple boosted. Come on.
Yeah, well, see, that's why they throw that in there. I'm so glad I got vaccinated so I didn't get extra sick.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. And you know what? I kind of agree with that as the thing, but I would go further with it being nobody ever said that you wouldn't pass COVID on if you got the vaccine. Nobody said you wouldn't get it. There's video.
Over and over and over. Even their media toadies like Rachel Maddow, I mean, stops it in its tracks.
Yes.
She was fed that line by somebody in the CDC or NIH or something. And as we see from the Twitter files, you weren't allowed to say anything else.
I get the feeling sometimes that these people think we're back in like the 1700s, where it's like, well, I said that, but they'll never find out that I said that because how would they? Like, could we have video now? That's how. President Biden is literally on tape going, you won't be able to spread it or get it. Which one did he say? I can't remember because it's one of those two. I want to say was it both? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's on video saying this and like, nobody ever said that. The leader of the free world said it. What are you talking about?
Dr. Fauci himself said that it would stop the spread of the disease. That if we got enough people, remember because he was talking about at what point would we have herd immunity, and he kept changing the number.
Yes,
so I mean, they did absolutely say it, and now we're at a point where more people who are have the juice are ended than those who do not have the juice.
Yeah.
So anyway, someone in here in the chat said something. Someone said the omnibus also was part of it. It was the best spin of the year, needing to keep the government running, whatever. Also, and if we wanted to use the worst spin of the year, anything that came out of Latrine's mouth.
Yeah.
All right. Now I don't know this category, and I didn't have an answer, but they seem to. Most boring politician of the year. They say California Governor Gavin Newsom, who hilariously ran ads in Florida trying to convince people his state did better in personal liberty. Really? Meanwhile, I think his state still is counting votes from November.
Well, I mean, for boring though, say what you want about Newsom, he's rarely boring.
Right.
I would go with politicians I haven't heard of. How about that? And I watch politics quite often, so I get what they're going for. A little slam on Newsom there. And look, that was stupid. Spending money in Florida, you're a California politician. There's no reason to be doing that other than to try to throw around your wiener because you think Biden might not run in 2024. But yeah, I mean, boring politicians. Watch a Senate hearing sometime. There's several of them up there who deserve it more than Newsom.
Yeah. The other thing is him running ads in Florida of all places, which is the fastest growing state, and his state is losing people left and right to Florida and Texas.
Yeah, isn't his one of the fastest shrinking states?
Losing the most people. I don't know percentage wise, but they certainly are losing the most people. When you're the biggest state, that seems like it would be normal, except other large states are growing, particularly Texas and Florida. They have most charismatic politician of the year, Ron DeSantis. This guy is master. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Most boring politician of the year. The only other one I thought of was one you've already said for another category, and that'd be Dr. Oz.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
He just was, how do you lose to Fetterman?
Oz should have been doing more TV. He should have been playing it national because let's be honest, it was just a Pennsylvania election, but that was a national election.
Right.
And if you saw some of the videos of him talking, he was a good speaker. I mean, the guy was on TV forever.
No.
But he seemed to kind of keep it limited, which was really a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's an interesting stat. Plague Doctors that said New York lost like 40% of their millionaires have moved away because or something like that because of taxes. Holy smokes. Then the most charismatic politician of the year. Now, I don't agree with this. They say Ron DeSantis. This guy's mastered the art of getting out in front of the press. Okay, this is true. He is good at getting out in front of the press narrative and driving it in a direction he dictates instead of letting the gatekeepers filter him.
Yeah, but I don't find him to be all that charismatic. I mean, he's a good politician. He's good at his craft, but it's a learned craft rather than it just being something like Clinton when he pops up and everybody's like, he's just so cool. Or even Obama in that sense, where it's just they could have been coming out there saying, we are literally going to kill your babies. And people have been like, it's so cool to kill babies. He doesn't have that natural charisma. I'm trying to think of who would be the most naturally charismatic right now. John Kennedy. He doesn't get a lot of play on TV and stuff, but John Kennedy, ever watch him talk in Louisiana? Yeah, that dude. I just want to hang out with him.
What's funny too? He's an old guy, right?
Oh yeah,
but he is absolutely in tune to current popular culture.
Yeah,
because he makes references of things and says things that anyone who pays attention to anything that happens online would know.
And I love the way he delivers his questions and everything about it, because he almost pulls that talk to me like I'm a fifth grader kind of thing, but without actually saying it. Just like, okay, I'm just trying to understand here. He's great at it. Somebody in the chat said Rand Paul. I would put Rand Paul in the same category I would put DeSantis. He is a trained speaker, he does not just exude, I want to follow this guy.
Mm-hmm. But he's brutal at questioning, though.
He really is. He's great at his job. I'm not taking that away from him.
Yeah. I think I've been watching some Nancy Mace hearings lately, and I agreed. Someone mentioned her earlier. I think she's really, she's very good at what she does too.
Yes.
It's very, very good. All right. We'll do a couple more and then we're going to have to close it out. But let's see.
Wait,
go ahead.
This is your open mic. Did anybody else want on? I am willing to pop off, but I'm going to hang out if you guys don't jump in.
If someone jumps in, there's no one in the green room, and I know on even if they do come on.
but you hadn't mentioned that it was an open mic in a while, so I was just throwing that out there for him.
Yeah, just a reminder, this is an open mic show if anyone else wants to come in and give their 2 cents. Let's see. I'm going to keep, let's I'll give you a couple other of these and then we'll call it. Bummest rap of the year, ordinary Americans who had their government weaponized against them for the crime of living their lives and expressing their opinions. That's probably a reference to the Twitter file.
Yeah, and it's true.
Yeah, fairest rap of the year. Americans will continue to lose faith in elections until certain states can learn to count their votes on election day. Florida, with around 18 million registered voters, finished counting all the votes in 5 hours or 5 hours after the polls closed. Arizona, with around 4 million registered voters, took over a month and has been subject to a litany of lawsuits. I have no argument there.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, did you see? So, they released Trump's taxes, right?
I saw a headline today that said what to look for in Trump's taxes. I'm like, nothing. There's nothing to see there, or it would have already leaked. And we don't need to see his taxes. It means nothing. This is a stupid argument that they got into because Trump wouldn't show them to him back in 2015.
Well, I still see people bitching about it and saying, "Oh, well, he promised to show his taxes and he didn't." And it's like, and there's a precedent, 40 years of precedent of presidents showing their taxes, and they seem to not realize it. They don't have to this mean anything.
And 50 years of precedent before that where they didn't. Jimmy Carter came out and like, well, I'll show mine because he's Jimmy Carter. And everybody else was like, well, I guess I'll do it now too. It's not a law. If you want to make it a law, by all means, make it a fucking law. I wouldn't agree with that law because it's nobody's business, but I understand the argument that he said he would do it. And he did say he would do it. And you should keep your promises, but it's none of your damn business. So I don't care if he broke that promise. He's a politician. I expect him to break some promises, and compared to what promises get broken, that one I can live with.
Well, I am going to put a link in the description of an article from the Wall Street Journal showing some of the highlights from that. Basically, over the it looks like 4 years of returns, he had written off enough to have $53 million in personal losses, but still paid $4 million in taxes over those 4 years. They questioned some loans he gave to his kids and whatnot. But you know what? If there was any smoking gun, like you said, we would already know it.
Yep.
Because they would not stop talking about it. All right.
The only surprise with this is when the Supreme Court finally went, yes, he has to give those to Congress, that it did not leak before now. And
Shocking.
so it is because I told my audience at the time, like, this is going to get released. I thought it was going to be leaked. They went this cowardly way instead.
Definitely. All right. I got a couple other people to bring in the stream, and we got about 10, 15 minutes left. So welcome to Rotten Corpse. Good morning.
Morning, folks.
Nice to see you.
What's up, bud?
Oh, not so bad. Just wanted to jump in real quick before I go out and do my out and about stuff for my off day, and wish you all a happy new year and look forward to what you do in the future.
Happy New Year to you, my friend.
Yeah, happy New Year. I'm going to also bring in Bully Rook. Good morning, Bully Rook.
A good morning. Merry belated Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Real quick, I'm going to ask you guys in the conversation, is there anything that we missed that we've things that you've thought that we haven't said yet? Let's start with Rotten Corpse.
I do not pay near enough attention. I get half my news from you, or I should say probably 90% of my news from you guys and the AAA guys.
Okay.
That's actually a good strategy for getting your news.
It certainly is. How about Bully Rook? How about you?
I just want to say I think the biggest politician winner is Vladimir Zelensky. He basically has the largest army in Europe and probably about $1 trillion in cash hidden under his mattress right now.
That's actually a good answer. It really is.
You know, it's funny because I interact a lot with the Hotep guys who put on the Grifties, the Grifties show that they at grifties.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's definitely in the running for Grifter of the Year.
Certainly.
I mean, he's convinced basically us to give them, like I said, he now has the third largest military budget in the world. We're giving them all of our shit look, all of our guys too can start or all of our like the military contractors can all start revving up to replace all the stuff that we're giving to Ukraine. So it's a win-win for the industrial complex.
Kind of, because some of the stuff that we've given away needs the chips that we don't have.
Yeah. Wait, the chips.
Yeah, the microchips that help with targeting and all of this kind of stuff, because we're talking about Patriot missiles and javelins and all of this stuff. Those are not just a mortar shell that you fire and it lands where it lands. These are high-tech equipment, and we don't have the chips to replace them right now.
Well, actually, I'm going to give you I just read a story yesterday. Right now, there's a glut of chips because there was the demand on a lot of products over the last year were way down, and they ramped up manufacturing of chips, and now they have I just read yesterday, it was a tech story that they're now starting to see an excess number of chips. So now a lot of the car companies are being able to finish some of their cars. Hey, I got one more person to bring in here, and because it seems like this may be a limited opportunity. Welcome to Alyssa. This would be my lovely daughter.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
good.
What now here's something interesting that I always find interesting, because I think in many ways my many years of bitching and moaning about things have rubbed up on my daughter, and so sometimes she surprises me with some of the things she says. What say you, Miss Alyssa?
On which topic? I just got here, so I missed some of that.
Well, you came in for some reason, so I want to hear what it was.
Just mostly to say hi, but also I heard something about grifting, which is a phrase that I just recently learned thanks to Twitter. I guess according to the people that I follow, people who fall within this category are Republicans. Yeah, basically just Republicans.
Oh, these are your friends. Okay, I got it.
Which I don't agree with, but Twitter's a funny place.
Well, grifting, it has a real meaning. It's basically conning people, and it's become just an insult that's thrown around, much like cuck was before it. It's just like, well, you're a grifter. Shut up, you don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Can
kind of
we
like
bring
bigot.
back Flim Flam? That's just Flim Flam, Ledgerman.
Yeah, it used to be kind of, it is like you said, a con or saying things that you don't necessarily believe, but with a financial financial gain.
Yep.
Now,
That's what I was gonna say. I'd say that's mostly a lot of those like pickup artist channels on YouTube and whatnot.
Certainly, yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Thanks to the Grifties, which is a show that's coming into its third year. In some ways, the term grifting is a badge of honor. Some ways, it's making fun of those who like Zelensky, who probably could be Grifter of the Year, who find ways to come into money, and you have to. There are things that make you go,
Yeah.
So, real quick, I do have a super from Black Hebrew Israelite. Thank you, sir. Oops, what happened there?
That's right.
Who says, "Hey, monkey, what?" Oh God. I'm going to read this verbatim, and even in front of my daughter, I'm going to read this verbatim because I know she'll just laugh. The question is for Randy. It says, "Hey, monkey, what did you think of come all over her ass as vice president part in bail reform funding?" I don't even know what that means.
I don't know who that is either. Normally I
Kamala
can kind of
Harris.
guess by the insult, but I couldn't figure that one out.
Yeah, so something about monkey about her part in bail reform funding. I don't know what that means.
With the vice president, Kamala?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar. I mean, I know she put out the link there for getting bail money for the people in Portland, but was she actually involved in bail reform? Are we talking about in California? Because if we are, that's out of my wheelhouse.
Well, she also did the Minnesota Freedom Project, which is after the George Floyd riots. She pushed that fund too, and unfortunately, they didn't have enough people arrested to use it, so they started just using it for people who were charged with murder and charged with other things, and then they end up. In fact, one of the people that they got out committed a murder while they were out, and it's just a shit show here in Minnesota. Because they didn't arrest anybody during the George Floyd riot, so they didn't have anyone to bail out. All right, let's see. We'll do one more here. Let me find. Let's see. Oh, let's go with two. We'll do two more. Let's go with worst lie of the year. Worst lie of the year. And we'll start with Monk if you have one. I'm sure there's a lot of these.
Actually, can you circle back to me?
Oh, sure. Anyone have a worst lie of the year?
Inflation's not that bad.
That's
Safe,
a good one.
safe and effective.
Safe
No
and-
further comment.
Yes, let's keep that one under wraps. Here's what they came up with, and this is a pretty good one. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas incessant claims that the southern border is secure, oblivious to the exploding humanitarian crisis. We've seen a record of more than 2.7 million illegal border crossings in 2022. Chinese-produced fentanyl floods into every American state unabated, and child sex trafficking and human trafficking in general have skyrocketed. Mayorkas and Biden have blood on their hands. Honorable mention, the radical rainbow jihadists calling Florida's anti-grooming legislation for students in kindergarten through third grade the Don't Say Gay bill.
That is probably my answer. The don't say gay. Yeah, that's a good one.
This was for biggest lie, right?
Worst lie of the year.
Worst
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say the next one would probably be the science is settled.
Well, that's a lie every year.
Well, and this might have been written before the last few days before George Santos came out.
Right? Yeah.
But as far as the most incessant, because now we know
Well,
that his stuff was lies, but this.
To give my own answer that's separate from any of these, I would throw in the we're not in a recession.
Mm.
Another one. Here's come from the chat. My name is George Santos. Here's a good one. By the way, hello, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Died suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one, that man with the hammer is not my gay lover. And then let's see. Wait, I'm torn between shot into the sun or being fed to the poor. Okay, I didn't know what that meant. And then let's see. Okay, I think those gas price. Gas prices have not risen.
I think a better one is that they've come down sharply.
Right.
What?
Well, I remember because Biden at one point had said that gas prices had come down from a high of $5 a gallon, and I brought them down. No. They went to $5 a gallon while you were there.
Well, the gas thing is funny with him because he was not responsible in any way for the gas prices rising, but he has made them come down.
Except he is responsible
Oh, yes, absolutely.
by reducing the amount that the refineries can produce due to new EPA regulations.
Also closing bills, making different land contracts to where they're not even lucrative at all or useful.
Yeah, that's an issue, but the refineries, where's our choke point is on this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was
All
saying,
right.
well, closing those contracts as well, even for the refineries, they couldn't do anything to have a futuristic to where it would bring the price down because it's planned.
Yeah,
And
this is,
when you're talking gas, you're talking future. So a lot of the stuff that Biden has done, even without doing something, like talking about, yes, we're going to get rid of all fossil fuels. That just scares the market.
And with fracking too.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm not gonna allow fracking. We're gonna allow fracking. We're not gonna allow fracking. Let's see. I just missed here. Oh, and then teenagers are getting heart attacks from climate change is another one then here. All right, we're going to finish with, let's see. I'll do one more. Oh, let's go. Either the most overreported story or the most underreported story. Now there's for the most underreported. Who blew up Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2? This has caused an energy crisis during a very cold winter in Germany, and nobody in the media has bothered to ask about it. The frenzy to invoke poorly thought out against Russia.
I thought it was the British.
Hey, I don't. We're not sure.
It was SEAL Team 6. We know who did this shit.
I mean, I know this might sound mean to some, but honestly, as an American, since it's not something that really affects me, I don't really care as much.
That's a fair take as an American, but on the global stage, this is a huge thing, and
I can believe that.
Fucking did that. We absolutely did it.
Let's see, and then
hang on, this is underreported.
Yes, they're not asking. Do you hear the media asking about this? Even though it happened, but who did it? That's the part that's no one's seems to be asking that question anymore.
I hear you, but I think the most underreported has to go to the Twitter files.
Yes, I think that's a better answer. Their honorable mention was corporate media water carriers couldn't be bothered to inquire as to the health and capacity of Democratic Senate candidate John Fetterman. I think the Twitter files one right now is clearly the most underreported or misleadingly reported.
I don't know if it would take the place for the most underreported, but I have been very curious about Sam Bankman-Fried and have not seen nearly as much as I would hope about his
When's
stuff.
that tape coming out?
What was that?
When's that tape coming out from him?
Tape?
Oh, the
Tape?
porn tape? Nobody wants to see that.
It's not real.
Oh, no.
By the way, hello Canada Hotep, and I said hello Canada Hotep. Someone else showed up. Who's just? No, I didn't. Hello Canada Hotep.
Well, yeah, the FTX story we talked about just a little bit earlier. That is far underreported for what it is.
Absolutely.
Good Lord.
Well, and again, it's because of where the money had been going. It's been going to mostly Democrats and Republican leadership, and then a lot of it was going to Ukraine.
Yeah.
So,
going to Ukraine and then coming back to the Democratic Party in the form of charitable donations.
right.
Like a big washing machine of some kind. If only there was a word for such an action.
Right.
Dry cleaning. Wait, wrong.
All right, one more. I got one more super here, and then we'll finish up with the most overreported story. Thank you, Ty Alexander, for dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. Appreciate it. Who says, "Yo, P, off to work, so no open mic. If you do one next Friday, I'll hop on. Yo, Rotten. Hey, Fuzzball. I want your damn shiny Bidoof. I don't know what a Bidoof is.
Leave me and my Bidoof alone. I'm gonna make a shiny Bidoof just so I have one.
And he says, yo, Alyssa, happy New Year's and whatnot. FTG to the usual suspects. Thank you, Ty Alexander. Appreciate it. All right, then we'll finish with the most overreported story. I'm gonna let you guys go first, and then I'll give you their answer.
I'm kind of going with Stanhope. Overreported anything dealing with Kanye.
That is a good one.
Kanye West. Okay, that's a good answer. Anyone else have another answer?
I'm going to go with the... sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bull.
All right. I'm going to go with the J6 Commission.
Ooh, that's a good one, too.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how tired I am of hearing about that.
J6 Commission. Ranting Monkey.
The Mar-a-Lago raid.
Mar-a-Lago raid. You're in the style of John McLaughlin. You're all wrong. The most overreported story of the year is the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. American voyeurs will watch any train wreck involving famous people, see Will Smith and cuckoldry. So there we are. That's the most reported story. All right. All right, guys. Hey, I've got to wrap this up because I have another engagement in 20 minutes. And hello to my granddaughter. I hear you.
She sounds so cute. How old?
She is 9 months.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Yes.
Aw.
She's been.
Oh, congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit late, but
Dumb Beard, how you doing? I see you in there, and hi to you. And I always say "rar" because that's what it says on her Twitter name. Anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to call it a day, but I want to thank my guests, Ranting Monkey, Rotten Corpse, Bull Rook, and my beautiful daughter Alyssa. Anything you all want to say or shield to wrap up the show? I'll start with Bull Rook.
I just want to say thank you for letting me on this call-in show. Oh, Monkey, I've been watching you since you first started making videos. It's been an honor to talk to you in this room. P-Dog, same with you. Been watching you forever. It's always great to speak with you. And y'all have a happy new year.
All right. And Alyssa?
Oh, me?
Yeah, just anything you want to say.
I wasn't expecting this. Well, I will say that having just kind of jumped into the Twitter sphere and getting involved in politics and showing more of an interest in this stuff, I just want to remind everybody, like, Twitter is not the real world. The way that people feel on Twitter or say that they feel on Twitter does not always match up with what people truly believe. And so just keeping compassion in your heart, even for people that you maybe don't align with, rather than just assuming that they are the same thing as what the social justice warriors are doing or whatever the case may be. It will keep us well-rounded and it'll keep our arguments strong. So, if somebody comes to you with something that goes against what you maybe think or believe, before you reject, just process and allow yourself to try to be convinced, because if they do convince you, not the worst thing in the world. And if they don't, it just strengthens your argument even more. And it keeps you compassionate, I suppose.
Very well. Very good. Very good. And thank you. And Rotten Corpse.
Wow, that's a harder act to follow, but I'm going to show my channel on that. Just recently finished the Jordan Peele movie trilogy reviews with me and Tier. If you watch the first one for Get Out, I do apologize. I out-boomered P-Dog by not having my mic working for like the first 6 minutes.
happens to the best of us.
Yes, it does.
That's all I got.
And Monkey, got anything you want to shill or finish off with?
I do. Make sure you like this stream. If you're on Rumble, hit that Rumble button, guys. Follow P-Dog everywhere that he is. I love this man. I wish everybody here a very happy new year, and take care of yourselves.
Well, outstanding. Thank you guys so much for joining the show. I'm gonna wrap it up here. So, but
Thanks
you all
for
have a
having me.
wonderful New Year's, Merry Christmas, and all that stuff. And everyone, best of health and what's the other one? Best of health and wealth in 2023. Thank you guys. All right, let me finish up the show here real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me on the Morning Night Live. As you know, we're here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Please, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button, share the stream. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section. Tell us what you think are the most important stories or the most cringy stories or the worst and best of 2022. And if you be so kind, you can always sponsor the show at pdognight.live 24 hours a day, and or Cash App, Rumble, or Cash App. What's that other one? Anyway, it's in the description if you want to sponsor the show. Thank you. Appreciate you, everyone, panel, people in the chat, everyone watching. Thank you very much. I got to go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Guess if you want to stay through the outro, I'll see you in a second. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.